Hi, welcome to Adjusting Your Heart. I'm Dr. J. Chua.
And I'm Hans Chua.
Today is October 16 and a very special day for us.
It's our 9th anniversary.
Yes, our marriage is far from perfect, and yet we have adjusted, and of course we have lesser fights throughout the years. There's a popular slogan that says,
Happy wife, happy life.
but I think it's a little unbalanced. So for today, our topic is
Happy hubby
plus happy wife equals happy marriage. I'll be sharing tips from marriage experts so that we'll have a happy marriage and thereby live longer and healthier lives. Allow me to introduce to you a marriage expert. His name is John Gottman. He's married to Julie for already 33 years. He wrote a lot of marriage books and even founded the Gottman Institute. And this is what he says: that as long as there are 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction, then there will be a stable and happy marriage. So I'm going to share to you some tips on how we could have more positive interactions in our marriage. The first is accept each other's differences. The character trait that might have attracted you to your spouse sometimes becomes a point of irritation in marriage. For instance, you liked your spouse before when you were courting because, oh, she's so talkative, she's sociable. But after you got married, you said, oh, she's so nagger, she's so noisy. Or on the other hand, let's say you would say the guy, oh, you like the guy because he's a good listener. But after you get married, oh, he's so boring. So in the United States, irreconcilable differences or incompatibility is a reason for divorce. But I hope that we won't resort to that. Rather, we would be able to work out our marriage so that it would last a lifetime. And for me and Hans, one of the advantages of marrying late is that we are more mature by then. And because we know that our life together won't be that long, we treasure it and we don't want to waste a lot of it fighting. So we would just give in and try to resolve things as quickly as possible. And of course, we want to enjoy our marriage and not just to endure it. Another tip is to lower your expectation. For instance, on my part, there was a time that I asked Hans to fix a leak in the sink. And he said, you call a repairman. I said, huh? Why should I call a repairman? Because in my house, while growing up, my dad can fix anything. He can fix the electric fan. He can even fix a TV, the refrigerator. He can fix anything. So in a way, I expected Hans to do that. But then I have to remember that Hans is not my dad. Hans has his own strengths. So I just have to accept him for who he is. For whatever his weaknesses, his quirks, his idiosyncrasies, the same way that he has to accept mine. And of course, when we want to compare our spouse, then we compare with somebody who's worse. Like, I'm blessed that Hans is not verbally abusive or physical abusive towards me. So then that makes it easier for me to accept his weaknesses. And like one of my weaknesses is that I'm not a very detailed person. So sometimes I miss out small but important things, just like this one. 1 year after our marriage, we went to Korea because we were able to buy tickets from Cebu Pacific for only 1 peso. And with matching taxes, it's only 5,000 to and fro. So wow, we got a good deal. So we didn't join the tour. For this picture, you can see that we went to the Teddy Bear Museum. We had a lot of fun. So no problem. Until the time we're about to fly home. When we reached the counter, the person looked again at my ticket, looked at us, and said, your plane has left. I said, we're here 2 hours early. How come you said that the plane, it says here 7 p.m. And then she said, no, mom, look, it's 0700. That means it's 7 a.m. Oh no, I didn't know that there's such a thing as military time, or I forgot. Because I'm a night owl. So every time I see a time, it's automatic for me, it's p.m. Oh, so we suddenly have to look for one-way ticket home, and thank God we were able to find one the following day. but we have to pay an additional 10,000 per head. So which means it's just like the regular fare plus the 5,000. And I apologize to Hans. We wasted a lot of time and of course money, and we had to sleep in the airport that night. And during that time, we heard a Korean couple shouting at one another. And we jokingly said, maybe that's also what happened to them, but we're just taking it cool, but they're fighting about it. So we just laugh about it. And of course, I have to learn my lesson. And let's not seek to change our spouse. Our spouse will feel unloved if we do that. And at the same time, we'll just get frustrated because the only person we can change is ourselves. We can change the way we look at our spouse. So instead of expecting him to change, we just lower our expectation and just love him and accept him unconditionally. Of course, we can always request our spouse to change an annoying habit, but if it takes him or her time to change or he doesn't change, we still have to love and accept him or her. But what we can do is we can influence our spouse, we can pray for him or her, and we can also model the trait that we want him or her to emulate. My second tip is bring out the best in each other. Barbara Cage said, love is a partnership of two unique people who bring out the very best in each other, and who know that even though they are wonderful as individuals, they are even better together. So let's focus on our spouse's positive qualities. Like for instance, here in my phone, I have the old list that I made for Hans' 41st birthday, 41 reasons why I love him. Because sometimes when we have a fight or I get irritated at him, I can't think of anything good. So for me to calm down, I would just get this list, it's already here. I'll just say, okay, no, my husband is a very kind, a God-fearing person, he's patient, he helps me with the household, and so on and so forth. And that calms me down. And my irritation would also minimize. Then another thing is then we can also thank our spouse for, let's say, helping out around the house. Like during this week, Hans fixed the leak in our washing machine hose. So I thank him. Or when he helps me clean the CR, something I don't like to do. I don't like cleaning the CR. Or he helps me in washing the dishes and cooking. Then we thank our spouse. Or if your spouse works very hard and earns a lot of money for the family, then you can also thank him for all his sacrifices. That's what we call positive reinforcement. When we do that, our spouse will feel happy and they would want to keep on doing that. And you can check out our episode 3 in which I talk about saying kind words so that we could transform and save lives. And we can also, like on my part, I also publicly tell him how much I'm proud of him or how I love him, like just today, because he gave me these wonderful flowers and other flowers just like this one. So I show the pictures in Facebook and publicly thank him for that. And because, of course, Hans would do the same for me. Like one of my weaknesses is also cooking. I'm not a very good cook. I'm very good with cooking canned goods, fried food, and simple food. But for the effort, he would thank me, and that would reinforce my habit of wanting to cook for him, and of course, improving my cooking skill. And let's make our spouse feel special, like telling our spouse that we love him or her, and have date nights together. Please don't neglect that. I know that we're very busy, especially with the kids, but I hope that you would still have dates together. You just leave the kids behind. Of course, not now during the pandemic, but just have time, as a couple time alone. Then celebrate important events. You can give gifts to one another. Hans gave me these lovely flowers. You can see from the picture I'm gonna show you. I bought a carousel cake, a very unique cake wherein both of us love to eat cakes. So it has 4 different flavors and 2 slices each. So we tried that, and I also gave him a couple's pillow. So simple gifts are okay. The important thing is that we remembered our spouse. And of course, it's important to laugh and have fun together. Find a common hobby or sports. Like for us, it will be watching movies or TV and traveling. Learn something new together. There was once that we learned archery together. We went to SM Mega Mall with some friends. We also joined my cousins. We went to the Sip and Go and we painted. So we tried something new. And of course, give each other some me time. Give each other some time wherein you could be alone, do the things that you want, even without your spouse. Or if he wants, like for Hans, if he wants to go out with his friends, I'm okay with that. And of course, it's okay when I go out with my friends. And also, let's support our spouse so that he or she can realize his or her God-given potential. For on my part, like I would get up earlier in the morning to prepare Hans' breakfast, text him that I'm praying for him, and let's say it's his turn to wash the dishes, but he has an important meeting, then I would just wash it for him, and he would do the same for me. Let's make God the center of our marriage, because the Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, "A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken." And lastly, communicate with each other effectively. Let me show you a classic case of miscommunication. I asked Hans to buy frozen veggies because he said he's going to the supermarket. And then when he came home with this. As you can see, it's broccoli and cauliflower. And I said, "Huh? You brought this?" And he said, "Didn't you tell me to buy some frozen veggies?" "Yeah, but we've been married for 9 years. Haven't you noticed when the package says frozen veggies, it's composed of carrots, green peas, and corn?" So we just laughed about it. So next time I know. That means when we communicate, I have to be more intentional. Probably I have to describe what I want, take a picture, or I should be more specific. I shouldn't assume that he knows or he notices, and vice versa, of course, because our spouse can't read our minds. So let's say what we mean and mean what we say to avoid miscommunication. Of course, there are generalizations like Dr. John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. He said that most guys are condensers and most women are amplifiers, which means when you ask a guy, "How's your day?" most guys will just say, "Fine, okay, so." One way. But if you ask most women, they would say, "Oh, this is what happened. I saw so and so. This what how my clothes look like. And then in the afternoon, I went to." So very, very detailed. So we have to remember that men, when they're stressed, they need time to be alone. But when women get stressed, they want someone to talk to. And imagine if these two get together, one wants to be alone, one wants to talk. That's why both of you have to agree when will be a good time to talk. Like for the husband, if in case they come home, they're very tired, maybe that's not a good time to talk. Maybe it will be during dinner time. So when the husband comes home, let him just take time to rest, probably watch the TV, play with his gadget, or just take a nap. And later you talk during dinner time. And for us women, we have to learn also to just give the gist when we're talking to our husband so that they don't get too stressed. Like, even though I have a lot of things I want to share with Hans, I would more or less organize. Let's say I have 10 things. I would reorganize everything and just tell him the top 3 important things or the top 5. The other 5, I'll just share to my office mates, my other friends, because it stresses him to listen to too much talking. And let's try to also get straight to the point. Don't beat around the bush. Because if you want to say something that can be said in 5 minutes and you took 1 hour, our spouse would get very stressed with that. And probably you have to understand that most men don't like sharing problems because they don't want to burden the wives. But I would also like to encourage the men. It's okay to open up, because as wives, we also want to support our husbands. And we can pray, and you never know, we can also give you some suggestions that might also help, because sometimes women can see things that men don't see. You can also check out our previous episode on validating others' feelings, because there I gave you some listening tips. So, a happy hubby plus happy wife equals happy marriage. And I hope that we will be able to practice this in our marriage, to accept each other's differences, to bring out the best in each other and to communicate with each other effectively. And I'd like to thank the following for supporting us: Eileen Cody, Alice Lee, Amon Ching, Anna Mary Ong, Anne-Marie Tan, Anthony Go, Anthony Lau, Brian Ongkian Kok, Catherine Tan, Cherilyn Ngo, Christine Juan, Grace Yap Tiu, Jane Lin, Jean T. Chan, Jeanette Ong, Jennifer Shago, Jessica Nang, Julieta Fabay, Karen Ngo, Kathy Garcia, Chris Yu, Leonie Bales, Leslie Sun, Mims Dinyo, Nat Stew, and Tina Chan Ang. So please like and subscribe this channel and stay safe, everyone.